As board-certified orthopedic surgeons, accomplished athletes, and regulars on the Lawrence Loop, Dr. Stoll and Dr. Pro know a lot about healthy living. Inspired by the same desire you have to stay active, healthy, and close to home, they're fit examples of our desire to bring the best, most comprehensive care to our community. And like all of us at LMH Health, they're committed to being your partner for lifelong health. Start your healthy future today at lmh.org/partner.
Now is your chance to get your business off the bench and get into the game. Join the winning team and advertise on Midco Sports Network. From the field to the pitch to the court, no one brings more expansive coverage of the Jayhawks and local high school sports into Lawrence area homes. You're watching, and so are your customers. It's time to get noticed. Call us to learn more about targeted local advertising at an unbeatable value and score more sales today.
audio input from
Get away. Should have it.
Each year, Andy, they're going to look quite a bit different.
Yeah, they are, and that obviously presents a challenge for the players and for the coaches especially. But I really like the concept of what this league is. If I'll use the analogy of building a staircase. At the very bottom down on the floor, you've got all these young American players who could potentially develop into very, very good players, and at the top of the stairs is a lucrative or even middling professional career. But it's been very difficult for players to get there, and so each league like this, like the USL League Two, and these kind of summer seasons for college players, just builds a step lower for players to kind of continue that pathway up to the top, and it just makes it possible for more people to kind of bridge that gap. Whereas in the past, it's been too wide, it's been too far. It's taken exceptional cases for players to really make it.
Popka Giorev taken down just inside the box. A lot of contact in there. Take a look there. It's head coach Istvan Irbany. He's not real happy with what just took place. A big collision as Caw Valley FC was putting on some pressure. And it looks like Francesco Brunetti is okay. He's the one walking off at this point. They've taken a shot to the mouth, I think.
I have long said that one of the worst jobs in soccer is the fourth official and the near side assistant referee on the sideline that Peter Vermees is on. Coach Irbany is giving him a run for his money right now. He's working the assistant referee as he was at the halfway line. He's working the fourth official as you saw just a moment ago. A couple, you could say questionable calls, and now we've got the two coaches
Nobody's happy.
No, nobody's happy.
How do you know you're doing a
whatsoever,
good job as an official? As long as nobody's happy, you're doing okay, right?
I think the least happy person down there, though, is the fourth official, kind of stuck between the two coaches at the moment with a couple calls going out there on the field that he's got absolutely nothing to do with, but he's got to kind of bear the brunt of the two coaching staffs.
And so Brunetti's going to have to come off for just a minute. He gets a quick sip of water, and now he is ready to sub back in immediately. And so he's already back on the field. But after the so-called injury break there, he had to come off for just a moment. Got a sip of water, rinsed out his mouth. I think we're good to go. One-one match, almost 25 minutes in. Recall, last night we were waiting for the opener, Andy, and it was just, ridiculous outside. Last year we were outside, which luckily we're not outside this year. We're up in the booth this time, and I want to say it was about 108 degrees, or at least that's what it felt like out there for the 7 o'clock, 7:30 kickoff.
We got some nice weather today.
Yeah.
And we're inside.
Very different scenarios in both regards.
Very much looking forward to having a little bit of the earlier in the summer evening schedule for the season this year. Much more in May and June rather than, June and July, where it can just get completely unbearable and totally unenjoyable to be outside. And I'm sure the players appreciate it as well, and just in terms of the fitness and the, how long they can go out there and play and how hard they can play, makes it so much easier.
And again, I'm impressed with what Thunder Bay has been able to do into this wind so far. They've had several opportunities. Wind is whipping straight out of the south and at the back of Kaw Valley FC right now. The tennis center, we see the flags, but I know the tennis center's, it's been new the last year or so. Maybe that's a little helping out a little bit. Maybe it's not quite as windy down there as we feel like it is up here, but you can hear it on our microphones down there. They've done a nice job of controlling possession at times so far in the first 25.
Yeah, they've been very purposeful with the way that they get on the counterattack, and you see it right there. Direct, dangerous balls forward and around the penalty area. It's not the passing sideways, passing backwards too much unless they absolutely have to. It's always looking forward. They've been prepared very, very well to really get on the front foot when they win the ball and not give Kaw Valley FC, you talk about going the other direction, time to transition and rotate back defensively. We're seeing it go the other direction as well.
And a yellow card coming on Brunetti. He was frustrated from that play earlier, and right there, really no reason for that. The whistle had already been blown. It was going to be Kaw Valley's possession. Instead, he goes over and kicks the ball really away from Chase Bromstead. I think he was reaching down at the time and looked up, and immediately the whistle blows and a yellow card handed out to Francesco Brunetti, who again has been frustrated for about the last 2 or 3 minutes since the takedown, and then more frustrated when he had to leave the game for 10 seconds.
He who responds and hits back second is always the one that gets caught.
Had some tension so far on this game. Mentioned neither coach real happy right now. Some players a little upset. Had the fireworks early. Got everybody on edge, and maybe it was just the buildup from everybody sitting around last night for a couple hours. Been fun, though, so far. A couple of goals on the board, tied at 1. Christopher Bagni, the PK for Kaw Valley. Meanwhile, leading scorer, Luis Hermano. I say leading scorer. It's the only goal of the year for Thunder Bay in Game 1, but he was the leading scorer with 18 goals and 8 assists at Judson University this last season. A guy that used to doing just that. And again, Thunder Bay controlling possession time. At the very least, wasting valuable minutes downwind for Kaw Valley FC. So even if not being super aggressive, you're certainly limiting Kaw Valley's chances with the wind. The ball held up again by the wind, and this one's going to really take off. You're going to have to sprint to get to this one. Larich, the man on the run for the Cranes. He will not make it in time. These teams had a chance last year to obviously visit some of the road venues. I think most of the road teams that were here would agree that this might be the nicest one in all of the USL2, at least one of the top couple for sure.
As far as the facilities go, the locker rooms and everything that's available to players, absolutely, and the quality of the playing field as well. You know, I know it was a backup facility last week in St. Louis, but nothing even close to on par with what we've got here in Lawrence. You know, it's going to be at some point a bit of a recruiting tool for Kaw Valley FC to say, hey, we've got these facilities, we've got this very nice place for you to come play and spend a couple months during the summer. Come do it with us rather than anywhere else.
If you build it, they will come. Work down the street at the Palace down there at the Legends. There's a big trip right in the center of the field, and that's Maida Rochi. And he's going to get a yellow card for that effort. That was a dangerous play by him.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bailout for Kevin Commodi there. I don't believe he was going to be able to beat all 3 or 4 of the defenders that were back. Don't believe that the foul needed to be committed right there. The next touch from Commodi looked to be a little bit heavy and it kind of run out in front of him. But you get the bailout right there. It's one of the big sins, if you will, in soccer. Players going nowhere really, and you give them a freebie. Not only take the yellow card, but now you set them up with a set piece about 25 yards from goal. Could be absolutely anything coming on this one.
Kevin Commodi, one of those UMKC kids from just down the street in Budapest, Hungary.
the pipeline between
it is.
And Budapest especially, but all over Hungary to Kansas City and the Midwest. I'm telling you, it's well traveled.
Good name too, Kevin. So Commodi will get things back into play here. 31 minutes in, nope, instead they go with the left foot, and that one too high. And well off target from Chase Bromstead. So both lining up to try to trick Thunder Bay and can't get one on target. Most of these kids coming off their soccer seasons in college with some time. What are the goal maybe? And another chance here. Thunder Bay, a tap in front, a nice clear by Bromstead. What are these kids trying to maybe accomplish, Andy, in the summer in this USL2 league?
Obviously staying fit and staying sharp during what's a very long off season in the college game. And I think one of the great things that USL League 2 and kind of the idea behind it does is it extends the soccer playing season for college kids, because it's very short if you compare it to anywhere else in the world. Players at this age that are playing for reserve teams or second teams for professional teams in Europe, they play a full 8, 9, 10 month long season. And in college, it's just not the same. It's 3 or 4 months, and you get X number of training hours that you're allowed each week during the off season and during the season, and you just don't get the same kind of development at that level. So it extends the season and the time that they can play and the games that they can get and the training sessions that they can get just a little bit. And obviously it keeps them busy and out of trouble in the summer. If you have real aspirations of becoming a professional, it's a great place to get noticed. And I made the analogy about the staircase, making your way up. Maybe it's only an opportunity to play for, a team like the Swope Park Rangers, the USL team for Sporting Kansas City. But that's a huge step up. If you're able to really put in some performances here and parlay that into an opportunity at that kind of level, then you're halfway there. You've got a foot in the door, and then it really becomes the dream becomes a bit of a reality, and you're not far, from really getting to where you want to be. So I love the idea, the opportunity that it presents to the players. It's just something that, as I said before, it has never existed in this country, and eventually it's going to pay off for some players.
Joe Petralia, the head coach of Thunder Bay, not happy.
As
Nobody's happy.
Nobody is happy. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I hope you're happy.
This is great. We're having a great time. You mentioned the players, you know, to keep them out of trouble out here. It's kind of why they have you and I call this thing, keep us out of trouble. Make sure we're somewhere as well. Little misplay here by Kaw Valley. Thunder Bay on the attack again, and a nice slide kick out there from the Cranes. We've seen several nice plays so far from Chase Bromstead. They're defending, a reason why it was second team all conference down at Tulsa. And, you know, all these schools, depending on if you're from a bigger school like Tulsa or UMKC, or some of the smaller schools, whether it's Newman University or you know, Rockhurst or one of the small, most of these guys are celebrated in their conference. I mean, these are the best players, not only on their teams, but in league play. Onside, a couple players looking to the side, hoping for a flag to be raised. Didn't do it. Instead, it's going to be a corner kicker for Kaw Valley FC.
Well, that was some very, very strong work from Busquets there, just driving through the heart of the midfield. He's got a little bit of size to him, a little bit of strength, a little bit of pace. Once he gets a head of steam behind him and he's on the ball, he's got his head up, he's looking upfield, really ate up yardage out on the field very, very quickly and put Thunder Bay under a lot of pressure in the blink of an eye. That was really, really promising there. He might be the guy that Kaw Valley, you know, kind of look to when they win the ball back and they're looking to get on the counter and transition, somebody that can not only hold the ball up but can progress the ball as well.
A bender right in front, knocked out by Mazinski. Good looking ball though from the corner for Kaw Valley FC, and still not done yet. Another high one, Mazinski there again. Those balls tough to judge with the wind blowing, and a crane. Looks like it's Ignacio Lerich, a little banged up. I did not see what happened to him. He shows you the elbow there, so may have taken a shot on the corner kick.
He's mixed it up with 4 or 5, I think, different Thunder Bay players to this point. I saw a couple minutes ago him and it was Pedro Adon having a couple of words with one another, you know, a pretty close quarters conversation about something, about this or that, whatever had happened. So, you know, the Argentines, they're not afraid to mix it up.
Nobody's happy, Andy. Nobody's happy today.
Nobody is happy whatsoever.
Doesn't matter.
That is the general disposition.
Ooh, where you are. Lerich, though, might be happy here if he can get there in time. Mazinski quickly off his line and able to clear that thing out of there. That could have been big-time trouble for the Chill.
And then as Mazinski goes back to his goal, he gives a little bit of elbow into the chest of Lerich because he felt that Lerich had kind of left a foot a little bit high on the clearance and made some contact with him. Nobody is happy, and everybody is doing everything they can to ensure that it stays that way.
Makes the game real fun for us, though. That is for sure. Bromstead. Got to get it back to the center of the field. Instead, back to Jordan Saltz. Kid from Australia. How many Australians do you think are in this league?
A handful?
Plays at UMKC, but probably not many. Gonna guess a lot more Euros over here playing soccer than Aussies. Well, a little hand fighting there. Finally able to get rid of it. Solario. And another body down, no whistles. Nice job by Salt to keep it in momentarily, and he'll get it back now.
We joke about all the, you know, everybody's unhappy and the hand fighting and the slaps and everything, but I kind of like it. It shows
there's an edge already.
Well, it shows that the players really care and that they're only here for a short time, but they're here to take it seriously and they're here to work. And as a coach and people that are running the league, what more could you ask for? Show up for a short period of time and they just want to work and they want to take it very seriously. I think it's one of the things that I've noticed maybe a little bit different today so far than the first season in 2018. You know, not that guys weren't taking it serious or committed, but that there is a kind of a different level of intensity about this team, at least so far, and that they are really here to work and show out, and they're working for one another as well. It's not just working individually, but they're working for the team. You know, very promising signs, not just from Kaw Valley, but from both sides here.
And a flag up here right in front of head coach Istvan Yerbany. And somebody not happy. Where did that come from? Andy, you're looking on the field. What bench did that come from? Did you tell?
Had to have come from a speaker. I'm impressed.
Closing in on minute 39 here in the first half. Quick start. Both goals in the first 7 minutes. We are still tied at 1, Kaw Valley FC and Thunder Bay. And while things have settled down a little bit, tempers, they're still there.
These teams need
A
halftime.
little chippy, yeah.
15 minutes away from each other, chance to go inside, cool down, get some water, just reset their tempers.
Usually it gets chippy at about minute 60. It was chippy at about 60 seconds in this one. You know, soccer sometimes gets a bad rap for guys going down, and you see later, and it's kind of a fake fall and a flop. But we've had some bodies hit the deck today. I haven't seen any of those today. They've been legit.
Yeah, no cheap dives.
No.
In this one, every single one of them have been earned.
See if either of these teams can put another tally on the board before the halftime break. Again, thanks for joining us. We are live on a Saturday morning at Rock Chalk Park. Season opener for the Thunder Bay Chill and the home opener for Lawrence's own Kaw Valley FC. We'll split time, 5 home games here, and then we'll have a few others over in Topeka, including one that is scheduled tonight, I believe, against Winnipeg. We will see. May have the similar kind of weight there tonight as we had here last night.
The weather will test our optimism.
It will. So a chance really for Kaw Valley to pick up a couple of home wins today. See if they can at least pick one up here for us in Lawrence. Matthew Mazinski from Campbell College, home of the Camels. Bellingham, Massachusetts in goal for Thunder Bay. He's been busy here in this first half. Bromstead. He's one to Solario in the middle. And that one's kicked out of play.
Different ideas right there. Busquets making the run inside. Solario kind of looking out for him to make the little bit easier run to the outside. Patrick Wilkinson at right back, not quite able to get there. And the ball ends up in no man's land.
Anybody stand out to you here early on from Kaw Valley FC? Any of the new kids that we hadn't seen until this year?
Obviously, you know, Urbani being someone that's coming back is going to stand out. I've been impressed with what I've seen from Chase Bromstead at left back. Thunder Bay has really kind of prioritized that right side. I think part of it is probably they got a couple of their better players there with Sawula. And also Brunetti kind of combining on the right side, and so they've really gone at him time and time again. And he's held up very, very well. Misjudged or misplayed one bounced ball on the play that led to the goal for Thunder Bay very, very early on, but has bounced back very well, been super busy, and made every single play that he's had to do so far. Still looking for somebody, I guess, on the other end of the field to kind of, you know, take the initiative or you know, step up and be the one that's going to link play and then set up those chances for everybody else. Just a little bit of a disconnect, I think, going forward for Kaw Valley. Their best chances really have kind of come on either set pieces when they've gotten corner kicks or they've gotten free kicks in fairly dangerous areas, or on the counterattack when they've been able to get Busquets out into space and really let him eat up the yards.
And again, into the win, Thunder Bay. Taking up Neville Morgan there, had it taken away. The kid from Jamaica. Lindsey Wilson College, but the time of possession here, a lot closer than I would have guessed when we kicked off. And more frustration, you see, on the field. Arms up from Christophe Urbani. And we're back in play. Pay attention quick. Couple minutes to go. If you're head coach Urbani, you'd really like to get another one downwind here before the halftime break. I guess as if you were Thunder Bay, you're pretty happy with this 1-1 score right now.
I think Thunder Bay, more than anything, happy, as you said, with some of the possession that they've been able to have. And it's not just possession for possession's sake. It's meaningful possession. It's in dangerous parts of the field. And as I talked about earlier, it's possession going forward, upfield, putting Kaw Valley under pressure. And from that pressure, they've been able to create a handful of very, very good opportunities. And you could make a pretty good case, I think, that they should probably have maybe a second goal in this game right now.
Keep an eye on the middle. Ignacio Larich standing by. There's another shot from Kaw Valley, but it's right on goal. It's Kevin Commody. And a nice stop again from Matthew Mazinski.
Nice working the ball around, though, in tight spaces with defenders all around from Kaw Valley to fashion a chance out of really nothing, and to get that much behind it and put it on target. Good work.
Back comes Kaw Valley quickly. Ponte. There's a quick score, and just like that, Kaw Valley FC back on top.
Well, that is one way to announce yourself and say, hello, my name is Ponte. From 20 yards out, I'm going to take this. I was just about to say he's got someone overlapping on the right side. I believe it was Busquets, looking for him to make the simple, obvious pass out there and set up what could be pass up a good shot for a great shot. Did not. Turned out that the shot that he had was a great shot and placed that absolutely perfectly inside the left-hand post. Wow, what a strike right into just about the upper 90. Had pace behind it, had placement, the precision, absolutely everything right there. We were told a little bit before, kind of coming into last night and today, this is a guy to watch out for. Keep an eye on him. And I just got done talking about somebody to take that initiative, be the one that's going to say, I've got this. I'm going to take the difficult shot. I'm going to make the chance for myself. His name is Ponte.
That's right. Last name Popki-Georgiev, but they said call him Ponte. Much easier for us. We'll do it. He's announced himself here, the kid from UMKC on the board. And for the first time this season, Kaw Valley FC has a lead.
By way of Budapest, Hungary.
That's right. That's right. It's almost like a suburb of Kansas City at this point, isn't it? And what timing there for head coach Istvan Irbany's team right before the halftime break. We're past the 45-minute barrier now, so we'll see another minute or two probably.
Nothing could be more demoralizing for Thunder Bay than in that moment to have played as well as they have in this first half. Just got done talking about it as well. Every good thing that they have done in this half, to be at 1-1, maybe fortunate to not be up 2-1 at that point, and then to give up a goal from almost nothing. You get a good transition from Kaw Valley, and he had multiple options. It wasn't as if he just took a bad shot and got lucky with it. They had multiple options, so they had created something there meaningful. But to give up the goal in that moment, it's a real gut punch.
And now a very deliberate Kaw Valley FC taking its time as the final minutes roll off here the first half and make it the final seconds. That'll take us to halftime, and what a half it was. Kaw Valley FC on top of the Thunder Bay Chill. It's 2-1, a late goal. Ponte, number 20 with the clean strike, gets it back to Matthew Mazinski in the final minutes of the first half. And it's 2-1 Kaw Valley after falling behind, Annie, on this goal very early on from Thunder Bay.
Once again, you love the response from Kaw Valley and taking no time whatsoever to get themselves level and get back on the board, and then to fight their way really back into kind of the balance of this game and to be just about level footing with Thunder Bay all the way through the first half. And then you get just a magical moment from Ponte right there. You see it again. He could hardly have walked it up there and placed it over the goal line any better than he struck it from 20 yards out. It's everything that they've been working for the last couple weeks, getting ready for this season. Very promising signs very early on from Kaw Valley FC.
Halftime at Rock Chalk Park. Kaw Valley FC on top of Thunder Bay. It's 2-1. Let's take a timeout. We're back to West Lawrence after this.
We are Dunco.
At Dunco, we believe pricing should be upfront, honest, and clear. We believe
Okay, Kevin, we're in a 2-minute break.
We believe any
I have about a minute of highlights. If you want to look at highlights, we can do the reads. I don't have stats, but if you wanted to talk stats, I could have somebody shoot the scoreboard and kind of go off of those.
We sell and install
not
your
sponsored.
home comfort products, which are built by Kansans and installed
See, I don't
by
know,
Kansans.
because I can
We
tell
are
it doesn't
Dunco.
look like
I
it.
can't see anything up there. Yeah.
This could be a song about home insurance.
Oh, with Nationwide, you can save up to 20% by bundling your home and auto insurance.
Bundling home and auto.
Which one do you want to start with?
What do you call that, a crossover?
No, it's more of a mashup.
Yeah, mashup. You see, that's why we're a great band.
We're not a band.
Yes, we are. We are a band.
Okay,
I am
so we'll do
in a
camps
band.
first and tickets second. Okay. So we'll come back, do reads, we'll take another 2-minute break, come back, highlights, another 2-minute.
It's a simple philosophy. Do the right thing, and you will be rewarded.
We're going to come back and
That
do
means
the
treating
reads,
people right,
and then we'll take a break,
both our
and then we'll
customers
do highlights,
and
then
our
we'll take a break.
employees.
Come back and do
Getting
highlights.
to work
We'll take
early
another break, so.
and staying
Break.
late to get the job done. And we measure our success by how much we've been able to give back to the community.
So far, it's just kind of hectic because I'm
We've
doing
accomplished a lot in
5
25
jobs.
years.
And we're just getting started.
Sound okay up here with the stick mic? Is it okay?
Yeah, it sounds fine.
There is only one
this the
place
last
in
one?
Northeast Kansas to see the teams, schools, and athletes that you care about the
So we're going
most.
to do camps first.
Midco
the
Sports
second one.
Network in Lawrence
Nope,
highlights
that
the
other
best
one.
from our
That
local
one.
high schools to Division I college athletics. Whether it's covering the Jayhawk athletic scene or capturing our area schools, high schools championship moments.
Stand by.
Midco
8,
SN delivers.
7, 6,
Midco Sports
5,
Network.
4,
Only on Midco cable
3,
channels 32 and
2,
622.
1. You're up.
Back at Rock Chalk Park, the
Stand by
home
for
opener,
camps.
USL 2 for Kaw Valley FC, and a great first half so far. Kaw
Wait for him to
Valley on
start
top of the Thunder Bay Chill. It's 2-1. A couple of reminders here for you from the club. Let's start with come play for the Sporting Club Network Club of the Year. That's Sporting Kaw Valley. Now enrolling for summer camps and premier tryouts, including the 2019 Kaw Valley FC Summer Camp coming up next week. That's May 28th through the 30th. Register today to learn from Crane coaches and players you'll see on the field tonight, this morning, and receive an exclusive camp T-shirt. See all the details and sign up at kawvalleyfc.com/camps. And also, if you'd like to get out of here, Kaw Valley FC has a number of exciting ticket options available to see the Cranes in person this summer, from season tickets to inclusive members area packages. There is an option for just about everyone. Head to kawvalleyfc.com/tickets to purchase yours. Excuse me, today. All right, halftime. Kaw Valley on top of Thunder Bay. It's 2-1. The Crane in the house. It's been a fun day so far. Let's take a time out. When we come back, we'll take a look at the first half highlights. And oh yeah, there are plenty.
Hey, Coach, you going to the fundraiser lunch?
Jeez.
No can do, Jenny, because
All right.
Taco Tuesday, which means old Coach gets
Yep,
tacos.
that's perfect.
Hey,
And
what if-
what day is today?
Sneaky.
I'll let her know.
Jenny,
Yeah.
Ole the day.
Okay.
Save big every Taco Tuesday with beef tacos for just 89
We'll come
cents.
back and do
Ole the day
highlights.
at Taco John's.
Say that again. Just come back and highlights.
Yep, and then we'll go to break again.
Okay.
Yep.
We've got about 12 and a half left on the halftime deal, so we'll take our time with highlights and talk.
Okay.
How many more breaks do we have?
1.
Eat well, live better. Minsky's.
You made dinner?
I made pizza. It's gourmet.
What?
We have hand-rolled dough, lean-cut meats, fresh herbs and vegetables, topped with 100% Wisconsin mozzarella.
Everybody cleared out over there now.
It's Minsky's.
Yeah. Let's have a slice.
Eat well, live better. Minsky's.
There is only one place in Northeast Kansas to see the teams, schools, and athletes that you care about the most. Midco Sports Network in Lawrence highlights the best from our local high schools to Division I college athletics. Whether it's covering the Jayhawk athletic scene or capturing our area schools, high schools championship moments, Midco SN delivers. Midco Sports Network, only on Midco cable channels 32 and 622.
You're up.
Halftime in West Lawrence. Home team on top. Kaw Valley FC 2, Thunder Bay 1. Wasn't always that way, though, Andy Edwards. A quick start, the visitors, the chill first 5 minutes, put a goal on the board into the wind, and this looked like serious trouble for about 60 seconds.
Yes, maybe some opening nerves for the home opener just early in the season for Kaw Valley, but giving up a couple of chances to that point, and then you see Sherwood here with just a really nice move to get a shot off and put it on frame, force the save, and Germano follows up, as I said earlier, as any good goal scorer should do.
And then Christopher Banyi, the other end, gets the PK, and this is what, about 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds later, just like that. In the first 7 minutes, we are tied at 1. A couple of more chances for Kaw Valley in that first half. Matthew Mazinski, pretty solid for the most part, the goalie from Campbell College. And we mentioned it was chippy. And nobody was happy in this thing for quite a while. The goalies pointing at players, other players, the goalies, and you kind of mentioned maybe there's a little something here between Ignacio Lerich and Matthew Mazinski. I don't think they're getting along exactly. Several opportunities, though, here. Took a while, but eventually, Kaw Valley was able to put another tally on the board. Ponti Popgigiorev with a bullets, and just like that, in really the last 90 seconds of the first half, Kaw Valley takes the lead for the first time today.
Yeah, he really took it upon himself as soon as he got on that ball near midfield, saw the space and took it himself. Really drove at goal and put every defender under pressure, had everybody retreating back into emergency mode, emergency defending, and absolutely nothing that anybody could do. You couldn't step to him because then it presents 2 easy passes out, and you have to think that he would have made the right move in that situation. You got to go with the 2 guys that are wide and play the percentages. Probably going to be a better chance created if he's able to get the ball to one of them and get it into the box and then combine with someone else. They play the percentages. Sometimes the percentages don't win. Sometimes you get beaten by a great play like we saw from Pawnee there. Just an absolutely perfectly placed shot into the upper 90. And if you're Coach Urbani, you are absolutely ecstatic by what you saw in the first half. To fall behind in the way that they did and then fight back immediately and then get the go-ahead goal just before halftime, you checked a lot of boxes off of the things that you want to see as a coach there in that first half.
Strategy change in the second half. You're on top 2-1, but you switch ends. It's going to be a lot more difficult offensively for Kaw Valley in the second half.
Yeah, I think it'll be more difficult. I don't think it's really going to change what they do, though. They have kind of this identity of the way that they want to play stylistically. They want to pass it. They want to possess the ball as much as they can. They want to get the midfield involved, and they want to push guys forward to combine with the center forward in Lerich and the guys out wide. I don't think we're going to see them go away from that. A lot of times when you see teams that really kind of sell out to go defensive, to hold on to a lead, it comes back to bite you because you take yourself out of everything that you've done well up in the game up until that point. You lose all the momentum, you lose your rhythm and everything that you have created to that point. So I don't think we see them go away from that. I think they push for a 3rd goal. I think they push for a 4th goal. They just have to, I think, be a little bit more in control in the middle third of the field. They've given the ball away a couple times that they didn't have to do. A couple of soft, a couple of maybe lazy passes that were easily stepped into the passing lane and sent back the other way. And we already talked about Thunder Bay, just how good and how purposeful, how quick they've been in transition. As soon as they win the ball, they know what to do with it. There's no standing around. There's no looking around for somebody else to tell you what to do. I'm going upfield, and we're going quick. We're making 2 line passes. And they've created a lot of chances from it. So just a little bit tidier, I think, from Kaw Valley in the second half. And through possession and chance creation, they will really be able to kind of defend that way by not giving the ball to Thunder Bay. You can't score if you don't have the ball.
And Thunder Bay super active in the first half going into the wind. Expect more of that in half number 2. We are halfway home here in West Lawrence. Kaw Valley FC on top of the Thunder Bay Chill. It's 2-1. Let's take another timeout. We're close to the start of the second half after this.
It's finally time to enjoy the freedom you've worked for.
So guys,
don't let worries about healthcare costs ruin it for you. Yes, Medicare has deductibles and copays, but Plan 65
we could try.
bridges those Medicare coverage gaps so you can budget worry-free. And it's good to know Plan 65 is from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, so you can still
I thought they were just
cross
once
on
per
life's
game.
next adventure.
Let me read here.
That's what I was told.
Confidence with Plan 65 Medicare supplement from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas.
As parents, nothing matters more than keeping our little ones healthy and safe. At LMH Health, we feel the same way. That's why we partner with Safe Kids Douglas County to provide free car seat safety inspections. Because we know it's the little things that matter most.
Sure. Do you want to do it in the same
As your partner
order?
for lifelong health, we care for and about you and your family, encouraging safe and healthy decisions today and for a lifetime. Keep your family on the road to a healthy future at lmh.org/partner.
The farthest one.
But you didn't have to set up. You only had to do half the work, half the innings, half the whatever.
Eat well, live better. Minsky's.
Do you or your loved ones take
30
more
seconds.
than 5 medications
30?
a day and are tired of seeing this when you open your medicine cabinet?
That's an affirmative.
Is it becoming very time-consuming to order your refills or set up weekly medicine reminders on your own? Why not let Sigler Pharmacy's compliance program do all of this work for you? We will deliver a completely sealed weekly reminder pack to your door and change your medicine cabinet from looking like this to this. Sigler Pharmacy, a locally owned HealthMark pharmacy. HealthMark, caring for you and about you.
You're up.
Halftime
And we'll go Camps first.
West Lawrence, Caw Valley FC on top of the Thunder Bay Chill. It's a 2-1 game, the home opener for the Cranes. A lot of ways you can get involved with Caw Valley FC. Of course, you can come play for the Sporting Club Network Club of the Year. That's Sporting Caw Valley. Now enrolling for summer camps and premier tryouts, including the 2019 Caw Valley FC Summer Camp next week, May the 28th through the 30th. Register today to learn from Crane coaches and players you'll see on the field tonight, this morning, and receive an exclusive camp t-shirt. See all the details and sign up at cawvalleyfc.com/camps. Also, Caw Valley FC has a number of exciting ticket options available to see the Cranes in person this summer, from season tickets to inclusive members area packages. There is an option for everyone. Head to cawvalleyfc.com/tickets to purchase yours today. Beautiful, well, I guess it's afternoon now. We started this thing in the morning. Yes, it is officially afternoon. I just nailed it right at noon. How about that? 2-1 our score, Caw Valley and Thunder Bay. Let's take another time out, about 3.5 minutes from the start of half number 2.
As board-certified orthopedic surgeons, accomplished athletes, and regulars on the Lawrence Loop,
Okay, Kevin,
Dr.
do you still
Stoll
want
and
to try
Dr.
to
Pro
do a
know a lot
post-game
about healthy
interview?
living.
Or
That's up to you guys. If we could get him on a headset
to
down
stay
there,
active, healthy, and close to home, they're fit examples
that'd
of
be
our
awesome.
desire to bring the best, most comprehensive care to our community. And like all of us at
So we'll still
LMH
try to
Health,
make it work.
they're committed to being your partner for lifelong health. Start your healthy future today at lmh.org/partner.
Now is your chance to get your business off the bench and get into the game.
Okay. I'll
Join
get
the
it figured
winning
out.
team and advertise on Midco Sports Network. From the field to the pitch to the court, no one brings more expansive coverage of the Jayhawks and local high school sports into Lawrence area homes. You're watching, and so are your customers. It's
Kevin,
time
just let
to
me
get
know when you want to
noticed.
come back.
Call us to learn more about targeted local advertising at an unbeatable value and score more sales today.
We are Dunco.
At Dunco, we believe pricing should be upfront, honest, and clear. We believe you should be treated like you want to be treated. We believe any service company is only as good as its staff. Our veteran team has the expertise you need. We believe you're a person that deserves respect, quick responses, honest assessments, and focused attention. We believe in staying local. We sell and install York Home Comfort products, which are built by Kansans and installed by Kansans. We are Dunco.
Hey, Kevin.
Ooh, Brad, check it out.
Right.
This could be a song about home insurance. Oh, with Nationwide, you can save up to 20% by bundling your home and auto insurance. Bundling home and auto. 2 songs in one. What do you call that, a crossover?
Yeah.
No,
Why
it's
don't we
more of
just
a
bring it
mashup.
back
Yeah,
and just scrap
mashup.
the clock?
You see, that's why we're a great band.
10 seconds.
Gotta pay attention.
Yes, we
Hey,
are.
Kevin.
We are
No
a
on the
band.
post-game
I am
interview
in
because
a
of the
band.
microphone situation. Does that make sense? Okay.
Here we go. You're up.
And back for half number 2. Thanks for joining us. Caw Valley FC on top of the Thunder Bay Chill. It's a 2-1 match so far, and what a great finish, Andy, to that that first half. Things did not look good 5 minutes in, but what a turnaround in really the last 37, 38 minutes of that first half.
Yeah, they really built themselves into this game and into that first half. You started a little bit slow. You give up the early goal. But as the half wore on, things got better and better from Kaw Valley FC. And that's everything that you want to see from your team, especially early on in the season, especially when it's a bunch of new guys coming together that have probably not played much together, if at all, in the past. So to kind of build and peak in the first half at the very end, very promising sign.
And we didn't really touch on that much in the first half. I mean, really the first game or two for both of these teams, and this is a collection of guys from not only different universities in the United States, but different parts of the world. All of the teams they have played on have played different styles in the past. Some of these guys may be playing just a little bit different position for the most part. What is the biggest challenge maybe when you get a collection of guys like this to put together and put your first team on the field?
I think the biggest thing is this is kind of a select group, and Kaw Valley would have gotten to have kind of handpick a good portion of this roster, and so it's typically going to tend to be guys that on those teams that you talk about all over the place where they've been the guy. And now you have a bunch of guys coming into one team where they all think they're the guy because they've always been the guy. And so maybe to kind of learn some of the roles and what you're going to be asked to do, what the team needs from you, not try to do too much and kind of play outside of yourself, but to play within yourself and sacrifice maybe a little bit of the individual production for the betterment of the team and to function as a whole the way that Coach Urbani wants. And I think we saw good things in that regard in the first half. Everybody working hard defensively. I think that's probably the first part of the game where some guys could maybe loaf just a little bit and they could take some plays off, but we didn't see absolutely any of that. We saw guys fully committed and working hard, not just for themselves but for the team from minute 1 to minute 45, and I would expect to see a lot more of the same in the second half.
And on the attack quickly, Commodore with it for Kaw Valley, and a beautiful touch, a race for the ball, and a sliding Mazinski able to get there first, but a nice start from Kaw Valley. The first real threat of the second half into the wind comes from the Cranes.
I like that pass. I like just a soft little touch right around the defender into space, but you saw two players on the same wavelength there as well. You'll see that pass played a lot. But the attacker that's supposed to be running onto it doesn't see it coming, and so he's not there, and it just rolls to the goalkeeper very, very easily. And I know the keeper picked it up there, but it was a very, very close play. So Commodore running with his head up there in that situation made that entire play possible.
And so far, some signs from Kaw Valley FC of being able to penetrate that wind, which, quite honestly, Thunder Bay was able to do in the first half as well. So good signs, at least from both sides, heading to the south. Neville Morgan trying to chip one into the corner, and I think maybe that's the biggest change. You've been going into the wind the whole time. You got to be careful when you touch the ball right. Just a little touch, and that thing's going to take off if you're Thunder Bay. And meanwhile, for Kaw Valley, you're used to just a little tap to get it going, and now you really got to put a charge into it.
It's a total recalibration of everything that you've done for the last 45 minutes. Just kind of, rework the math on every single pass and the angles and the geometry and all of that. It'll take a few minutes, I think, but once you get to this level, guys have played in games in all sorts of weather and all sorts of environments. You're used to making those adjustments in the middle of the game, even in the middle of the half, as kind of conditions will change. So I don't expect it to be too much of an issue. I actually think it might favor Kaw Valley just a little bit, because those balls that are going to come up short, at least they're going to stay in play, versus everything over the top for Thunder Bay is going to be at risk of going out.
And the defenders now for Kaw Valley FC getting a few more touches in the backfield. Just trying to send one ahead. Patrick Wilkinson making a run, tapped away momentarily by Morgan. Morgan now has it back. It's Roche with it. And again, Thunder Bay trying to move it forward just a little bit, trailing 2-1. And a takeaway here, and here comes Kaw Valley FC. A long cross tapped out of there. Busquets was coming. He's upset. And a nice slide tackle there from Wilkinson. And Andy, you're reporting down below. I was watching the field. You were watching the sideline. What'd you see?
Coach Urbani, he is not happy. What we saw in the first half, these are two teams that are very committed, and they're out there playing very hard, not just to win the game, but for every single pass, every single ball. So they're gonna continue to be a little bit chippy in the second half.
Manuel Ochando still down. Meanwhile, Kaw Valley trying to get things started. Commodore went ahead and put one into play, and chippy. We're in the 51st minute now. Now is when I kind of thought things might get chippy. It just started about 44 minutes ago.
Yeah, the only thing you don't want to see, obviously, is for it to escalate further to where it detracts from the game, and players become distracted, by the extracurriculars going on. I would hope that's not the case, because we've got a good game going here. We've got two teams that are really going after each other.
Urbani, nope, going to be Commodore. Didn't quite get enough air under that one, and that one's cleared out of there by Thunder Bay. And Germano trying to corral it near midfield, can't quite do it, and Kaw Valley's going to come away with it just once again. Jordan Salt goes back to corral it. Mentioned some of the names there in the first half for Kaw Valley FC and some of the schools. Take a look at Thunder Bay. You've got Judson University, Rocky Mountain College, Mercy College, Liberty University, San Diego State, Lindsey Wilson College. Got a kid that started at Syracuse, went to Northern Kentucky. So regionally, a little bit closer to home up there for Thunder Bay. But Kaw Valley, offensive-minded once again. A quick cross. Urbani is there and can't quite track it down, although he still fights for it. But more chances for Kaw Valley here in the early going of the second half.
I think we've seen the intensity go up just a little bit from Kaw Valley in terms of the locations on the field where they're really pressing and trying to win the ball. Maybe it's a byproduct of playing into the wind in the second half. They're looking to get on it a little bit deeper in Thunder Bay's defensive third, and I like that strategy. The defense not really tested in terms of possession in the first half. Put them under a little pressure. See how they're going to respond. See if they can work themselves out, or if they're going to commit silly turnovers, silly mistakes that are going to gift you a chance on a silver platter.
Morgan back to Rochi, and he'll send it all the way back to Mazinski. So far, so good here, half number 2 for Kaw Valley. Defense has been really the offense so far. And Urbani send it back to the waiting Nico Nito. Home opener for Kaw Valley FC. It's been a good one so far, on top of the Thunder Bay Chill first match of the year for the Chill, and the long road trip for Thunder Bay. But I'm guessing they're used to that by now. They've got road trips every time they hit the road. A little easier for Kaw Valley FC to go to St. Louis than it is for Thunder Bay to come down here. Wind continues to whip here on a late May day in northeast Kansas. Germano dancing with it momentarily. Kaw Valley has it again. Last touch by Neville Morgan. Germano, quick touch. Chondo has it in the corner. And Kaw Valley again doing a nice job of getting there in time, and the Cranes will have possession on the throw-in.
I think Thunder Bay have said, okay, you press us a little bit higher, a little further up the field. We'll do exactly the same, and they're able, obviously, to win the ball 20 yards from the end line right there off of, I believe it was Patrick Wilkinson, and then create a chance very quickly out of it. Obviously, being a goal down, they have to be a bit more of the aggressors, and they have to try to take the game to Kaw Valley, and that's a great way to do it, especially if you're able to get numbers 2 and 3 guys into a small space down in one of the corners like they were right there. You're almost always going to come out of there with the ball.
Busquets on a run out. Morgan very unhappy. Thought he got a piece of the ball. Can't believe it.
I will admit that the assistant referee down there had a much better view of that one than I did, but that looks like an absolutely fantastic, perfect slide tackle to me. I'm not seeing the foul on that one. I think it's probably got to do with the fact that he's coming from behind just a little bit, but he gets out in front of Busquets. He gets the contact with the ball. He doesn't go through the player. He doesn't chop the player down. That's textbook to me.
Serbagni sends it in for Kaw Valley, and a chance here. Larich with the right foot. That one finds the back of the net. A floater into the wind. Totally frozen Matthew Mazinski.
It was a shot. I was waiting for the replay to determine whether it was a shot or a cross that got a little bit wayward and floated in there to the back post. But you can tell, I think, by the way, obviously the way that he strikes through the ball, he puts a little bit more on it on the follow through than if he's kind of chipping it up to the back post. The foot's going to stop. But then he also looks up very quickly at the post, and you can see he's trying to find the flight of the ball and everything right there. And I think Mazinski was stuck in between, just as I was, not knowing, is that on frame? Is that going to be out in front? Do I need to come out for it? Do I need to be looking to make the save? Just confusion all around for Thunder Bay in that moment. And, credit Larich right there. He had a bit of a rough first half in terms of getting into a couple of extracurricular moments with some of the Thunder Bay players. Didn't have more than, I think, one look on goal. That's not even a half chance. That's a quarter chance right there, and makes the most of it.
You mentioned the recalibration earlier. That was really a floater out of the reach of Mazinski. He kind of got caught in no man's land. That ball wasn't traveling very fast when it got to the corner, but it's the third goal of the game for Kaw Valley FC, the first of the season for Ignacio Larich, and the kid from Newman University by way of, Argentina is on the board, and it's a 3-1 advantage. So 3 straight scores from Kaw Valley FC after falling behind 1-0 early on. And 3 different players tallying goals in this one. Christopher Banyu with the penalty kick early on. And then the strike from Ponti to make it a 2-1 game. And now, big time advantage for Kaw Valley as Larich makes it a 3-1 contest. And the goals into the win today, I'm a little bit surprised, Andy. The offense has been rock solid going into the wind, and you joked the word recalibration earlier, and boy, such a different touch, and even for the defenders. And like I said, I feel like that Mazinski got caught there with the floater, and I don't think he was ready for a shot. You mentioned you didn't know if it was a shot. I don't know if he knew if it was a shot.
Yeah, these are 2 good teams, and they have a style that they are insistent on playing, and we've seen both of them going into the wind, going with the wind, hasn't really mattered a ton. They're able to play the way that they want to and connect some of the passes and the ideas that they have, which is impressive. So early, being second game of the season for Kaw Valley and the first game for Thunder Bay, I've been very, very impressed by just the level of play, the standard of play that we've seen in this game thus far.
Beautiful touch there to keep it alive. Busquets to himself, and then he gets tripped up from behind, falls on the ball, and that will go back over to Kaw Valley FC. Quick whistle blowing, and hey, look at some people, guys being nice to each other. That might be the first time we've seen that today. They're friends after all. How about that? Credit to Manuel Ochando helping up Busquets that time.
The good relations have to start somewhere.
They're right. 3-1 our score, Kaw Valley FC with a 2-goal lead for the first time in 2019. And an explosive start offensively here for Kaw Valley FC after being shut out last week on the road at the St. Louis Lions. So I'm sure that Ishvan Irban, you'd be very happy about what his offense has been able to put on the board so far. And we've still got 30 minutes left in this one. And maybe more coming from Kaw Valley. Similar spot on the field. This cross goes just wide and nobody home. Boy, that far post, if there'd been a crane waiting, it'd been just a little tap in to make it 4-1. Larich that time, though, on the cross with the left foot, could not get the right spin on it to send it towards the goal. Going with the left, and another chance here. A little slip in behind, got a foot on it. Great play by Ponte again, trying to score his second goal of the game.
What an incredible pass by Kevin Commody there. 25 yards from goal, curls it around a couple of defenders, in behind the defense, far enough out in front of the goalkeeper that he's got no chance of getting to it. That is just incredible playmaking right there. There is a very, very, very small window, maybe the size of the penalty spot on the field, where that pass has to land into for it to find Ponte, for him to have the space between himself and the goalkeeper. And I know the goalkeeper made the save, but to even get a shot off. And he found that spot, and he put the ball right there. That was sensational.
That's when going into the wind is an advantage. It's hard to put that kind of juice on the ball going the opposite way. Kind of similar to a baseball situation where wind blowing out's usually good for the batter. But, man, if you're throwing a big curveball as a pitcher, sometimes you like throwing it into the wind. And that's pretty much what we saw right there from Commody. A huge curveball setting up Ponte perfectly, and he really got a good look inside.
I think we found that attacking combination that I was talking about not long before the second goal was scored, obviously. It took a little bit for them to kind of, come into the game and find their footing and find the tempo of everything, and then really able to kind of put their stamp on things. But Commody kind of pulling the strings in midfield has been, over the last 20 to 25 game minutes, has been very, very influential. And then Ponte, obviously, with the goal that he scored, but making really, really dangerous runs. And then we saw Larich, obviously, with the goal just a few minutes ago. He's been a little bit more involved, a little bit more active. I think he's upped his defensive work rate just a little bit, and he's won a couple of balls kind of tracking back and was able to create, a chance for himself, a chance for someone else, just from putting in those miles defensively. So we're seeing Kaw Valley come into this game much more so in the last 20 or so minutes than we saw in the opening 40 or 45 on the attack. And that is very, again, I keep saying the word promising, but these are very promising signs that if you're trying to kind of build momentum in this game and in this season, it's a very, very good starting point that a lot of teams in USL League 2 are not going to have so early on.
And a quick whistle there on, looks like on Ponte, trying to get around Pedro with Don. Don gets knocked down, so quick foul on Thunder Bay, or on Kaw Valley, and Thunder Bay gets possession. And needing some offense right now. We've played roughly 18 minutes now of this second half, and Andy, I don't know how many real true offensive chances Thunder Bay has had with the wind at their back right now. Most of the action has been at the opposite end, and credit to Kaw Valley. You mentioned seeing some things maybe starting to come together after playing a game in another half, and I also like the edge we see from this team. I know it's a little chippy and got fired up real quick, but I like the fire that we've seen from this squad early on.
Yeah, I absolutely do as well, and I think we're seeing Thunder Bay's energy levels drop just a little bit. They're not so quick to every 50-50 ball. There's a perfect example. Christopher Banyi comes in to the middle of 3 Thunder Bay players. Any one of them could take 2 or 3 quick steps to the ball, corral it, and retain possession. He comes in from outside the circle, wins it, boots it upfield, and it's going the other direction. So it's little things like that, and they're not pressing as hard as they did very early in the second half. I think that they've lost a little bit of a half step or so, and to Kaw Valley's credit, they have been able to take advantage of that. I think they've sniffed it out, they've sensed it, and they've really put their foot on the gas, and they've put Thunder Bay under more and more pressure, and they show no signs of letting up. If you just kind of look at the little quick possession there, and then the aggressive ball forward, they're connecting things now that they weren't able to do early in the game.
Ball kicked out of play off of Ignacio Larich. We're almost 20 minutes in to the second half. 65th minute on the way to 90, and it's a 3-1 lead for Kaw Valley FC. 2 goals in the first half, another one here in the second half. and 3 unanswered from the home team after a very early goal from the Thunder Bay Chill. And if the weather holds and the score holds, this could be a really big day for Kaw Valley FC. Picked up a nice point on the road last week. A scoreless tie is at St. Louis. A team that finished right at 500 last year in the Heartland Division. Finally, some possession time for Thunder Bay. Haven't seen a whole lot of this so far here in the second half, and not going to see a whole lot more of it here. Manuel Busquets comes away with it, and here comes Kaw Valley once again. And Larich on the move, feeling pretty good. You can see a little pep in his step after that last goal. Had another nice cross that they couldn't quite put home.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of kind of a personnel tweak in the second half. Larich has gone out to the left wing, obviously trying to cut in and combine and look for goal from there rather than playing as kind of the out-and-out center forward as he was in the first half. And I like the move. I like what he has brought to this team facing goal versus having his back to goal and having to hold up and bring others into play. He's obviously a player who, you know, is downhill and is looking to get up the field as quickly as he possibly can and really put defenders under pressure. And you can't quite do that when you're playing with your back to goal as much as he was in the first half. And so what we've seen is Ponte's playing a little bit more centrally. Kevin Comody's pushed up a little bit higher, and it's all really fluid up top. And all three of those guys are really interchangeable, obviously very versatile players, you know, comfortable in a number of different roles, very technically gifted, and obviously have some pretty good soccer IQ to be able to kind of execute those things, one being new to playing with one another, and two so early in the season. So I really like this. It's a small tweak from Coach Urbani, but it has really, I think, proven fruitful in the second half, not just in getting the goal from Larich and being productive, moving him out to the wing, but just in terms of the way that they have been able to have possession and not allow Thunder Bay the ball. You mentioned just a moment ago, where have the chances been for Thunder Bay going in, you know, with the wind behind them in the second half? Part of it's been they haven't been able to get on the ball, and when they have, it's been in really, really poor areas of the field.
Another beautiful pass. Here comes Kaw Valley FC. Again, battling into the wind. Busquets waiting for some help. Got Wilkinson on the right side. Nice little pop pass, and this chip, you're laughing to the right of me here. Into the wind, man. You never know. It worked for one goal and a couple of floaters. Throw you off balance, but another offensive chance for Kaw Valley FC.
Yeah, I think Busquets missed the window for the easy pass and then had to go for the little bit more difficult chip, which then obviously makes it a lot more difficult for Patrick Wilkinson with the next ball coming in. But again, Kaw Valley, how quick was that transition compared to most of what we saw in the first half? It was a lot quicker and put Thunder Bay under a lot of pressure, and especially as they get these heavy legs in the second half, they're really, really going to start to run out of gas. And I would almost be shocked at this point with 22 minutes left to go in this game if Kaw Valley doesn't get a fourth goal.
So Pedro Adan coming off the field for Thunder Bay. He'll be replaced by number 24, Luca Gersine. We'll see if head coach Istvan Urbani, with another game later tonight, if he chooses very many substitutions. I know there's a couple of league rules that they had wanted to get some clarification on to make sure that if somebody played in the early game, they could still play in the second one. But we may not see too many new faces. And really, honestly, at this point, I like what this group's doing. I don't know that you need to make any substitutions just yet.
Yeah, they've worked out kind of that tactical tweak up top that we just talked about, and I think they've got balance now because of it. They're a little bit back heavy, and I think when the midfield was in possession in the first half, there weren't a lot of outlets. There weren't a lot of passing lanes going forward to not only keep the ball but to really create chances. And now that they've worked something out up top with those three guys playing very fluid and interchangeably, the passing lanes are plentiful, and you know, they can go anywhere with the ball that they want. They can create a chance on the left, on the right, through the center. So it's looked a lot sharper in the second half, and you can make changes and save legs and try to see the game out, and you run the risk of losing a little bit of that continuity and everything, some of those connections that they've worked out over the course of the first 70 minutes, or you can just keep the foot on the gas, try for the fourth, which I think is an inevitability at this point, and really, really put this game to bed. Worry about the second game when it's time for the second game.
Closing in on the 70th minute. 20 minutes left in this one. Kaw Valley in control. It's 3-1. Tied things up in the 7th minute on a penalty kick, and then took the lead for good right at the end of the first half. Looks like Emmanuel Ochando not doing too well. He just limped out of the locker room, didn't he? And
no good deed goes unpunished.
No, and I think Marco Coomerly in the game for him. He started the second half.
Yeah, it was Ochando who tried to cool the tensions.
Yes,
and
it was.
For his good deed, he gets an injury.
Solario out wide, and here comes Kaw Valley again. Solario. The ball kept in play, but unable to control it. And our sun is starting to disappear. I hate to bring that up. Early afternoon, the storms will start popping here at some point, and all this sunshine has been the fuel for what we're going to have as far as rainfall goes this evening. But a great start here for Kaw Valley FC. We may have our first substitution for the home team. Cranes will get number 19 in off the bench, Bryce Gibson. Marcus and Jordan. Two guys running the show out here at Kaw Valley FC. Warner said he might see us a substitution. Maybe one or two, but probably not very many. So they were checking with the league at last chat to see what was legal and not legal as far as substitutions. Bromstead's got a touchdown here in Kaw Valley. Mentioned his name several times in the first half when Kaw Valley had to play a little bit more defense, but haven't had to mention his name much here in the second half. It's been mostly the guys up front. Wilkinson. Little tapper, mentioned Busquets' name several times. He's been very active. Sends ones through the officials' legs. And Kaw Valley now really in no rush, right? Just keep possession, work the clock, stay aggressive. That's what we've seen. Here's Wilkinson again. Great passing, really nice passing. Little tap there and just not quite ready. Ponte. Man, if he had been able to control that one, he could have turned and been one-on-one with Mazinski.
Yeah, I just love that entire sequence right there. Kaw Valley going left to right, through the center, back and forth, everything pulling Thunder Bay this way and that way, forcing them to rotate time and time again. Very comfortable in possession. You force a team to move side to side in unison that many times at this point of a game where they're already starting to show heavy legs, somebody's going to miss a rotation defensively eventually. And it took about 3 or 4 or 5 times back across the field, and finally it happened. Obviously the final ball with a little bit too much on it to find Ponte, but just the entire idea and that sequence right there just shows that this team has a great understanding of what Coach Urbani wants them, how he wants them to play. They're actually able to go out there so early in the season and execute it.
Bruno Mauricio, number 14 on the far side. They have checked in at halftime as well. Tried to fire off a quick shot that was batted away, and I think we're getting close to our substitution. Maybe not. Nice sliding tackle there from Kaw Valley. And that should get the ball cleared down at least momentarily. Crowd is loud here. There may not be huge in numbers with this rescheduled game, but and Gibson checking in for Kaw Valley FC, and I think he'll get in there for Ignacio Larich, right? And a really nice home opener for Larich.
Yeah, he had run out of gas in the last few minutes. I caught sight of him on the far side a couple times, kind of hands on the knees when the ball was out of play, and he wasn't the quickest coming off the field. I know part of that's strategy. You want to kill the clock a bit, but he looks pretty gassed down there. I would imagine he's not one of the guys that'll play again tonight should that game go ahead, but the last 30 minutes or so from Larich since that move out to the left side where he's able to play facing goal once again, hugely impressive and easily the most dangerous attacker for Kaw Valley during that period. I know Pawnee got the goal right before halftime, and Larich gets the goal early in the second half, but there were a number of moments where chances that came down the left side had his fingerprints all over them. So I'd imagine maybe similar to that Tucker Stevenson role that we saw in 2018. A guy
he was the man last year.
He was, but he could also play through the middle. He could also play out wide. He was always looking to get upfield and put defenders under pressure, and always looking to get his shot. So a few similarities between those two there. I think Larich is a little bit more, shall we say, chippy, to recycle a word that we've used a few times.
I like chippy.
He's got a little bit more, maybe more tenacity to him, and that comes from probably where he comes from and where he grew up and how he was raised, and just the soccer education that he got. That's not a bad thing, by the way. A lot of great players kind of have that aspect to their game and their personality as well. It's a personality thing as much as it is, part of their game as a player. So he'll be a star, I think, for this team as this season goes on.
It looks like Tommy Fizzell will check in here briefly. We approach the last 14, 15 minutes of this one. And Kaw Valley, this one well in hand at 3-1, and still really on the attack offensively, even going into the wind. It's really been a total role reversal of what thought we might see. We see a lot more chances for Thunder Bay, but no telling what that goal right before halftime really did to the momentum of this game. And Thunder Bay got off to that hot start and gave up 2 goals then, and actually trailed at the halftime after leading in the first 6 minutes. Ball just sliding out of bounds. Wilkinson tries to keep it in. This is Skursine, the inbounds toss, and Thunder Bay trying to mount some sort of attack here in the final 13. That's a sloppy play, and here comes Kaw Valley again on offense. The long run into the wind, and see some guys a little bit gassed out there right now. That was Ponte trying to catch up with it. Popkiorev. And here comes another substitution. So 28 in and 11 out. So Kevin Commody, he's had a great game today. You've mentioned his name on several occasions. Hasn't been the guy doing the finishing, but he's been setting it up for sure.
Yeah, and just like Larich there, once that tactical change happened, I think he got into a part of the field where he's a little bit more comfortable, had a little bit more time on the ball, and are really able to create and drive the game at Thunder Bay. And then that curled pass that he played around the back to Ponte, it's one of the better passes, if not the best pass that we'll probably see all season here, doing these Kaw Valley games. So again, another player who I think is going to be leaned on heavily in terms of the possession, in terms of the chance creation. As you said, not the one that's going to score many of the goals, but he's going to have his fingerprints all over everything that this team does, kind of transitioning from the midfield into the attack, the possession to the chance creation.
Manuel Busquets again gets the possession back for Kaw Valley with a couple of nice maneuvers to get around a defender, and he tries to keep it alive there. Is there any life for Thunder Bay yet? The answer, no, on this possession. Again, taken away by Kaw Valley FC. Still trying to be aggressive. Gibson, one of his first chances. Down on offense, and back come the Chill. Trying to run. Nice tackle there. Wilkinson defensively gets in the way. '80th minute right now. Closing in on the final 10 of this one. Another minute or two added. Making some stoppage time. I think the home folks certainly like what they have seen from Kaw Valley FC. I know if Isfan Urbani after the game, you ask about the one goal they gave up, he's going to say, look, not our fault. That was a missed call. We're a guy down in that situation, and I like the way our team responded after that goal.
I would be willing to bet. We know how he felt at the time because we saw his reaction and the conversations he had with the referees. But I would imagine now that they've gone through and should they hold on to win this game, that will be the one thing that he focuses on that was a weakness, that was a mistake, the thing that we need to clean up and be better at. You know, good coaches are always looking for, you know, to keep the highs from being too high, the lows from being too low, and to keep this team kind of on it and working forward. He'll focus on that. I almost guarantee he will focus on the one mistake that they made in this game.
So another substitution coming. Isaac McGinnis set to get into the game, and I think he's going to come in for Manuel Busquets. So McGinnis in, gets a high five there from his head coach, Urbani, and a nice start for him at home, I think, as well.
Yeah, strong shift, more so defensively than anything else from Busquets there out on the wing. Really got back and did a lot to help out the fullbacks defensively. And that's something that's so important. We talked about it with Larich earlier, how he was able to win the ball back and start some of those chances for Kaw Valley. Busquets maybe not starting as many of the chances, but shoring things up defensively there out wide is just as important. And you talk about, you know, a role that has to be filled for on a team that's full of guys that have been the guy from just about every team that they've ever been on in their college teams, and kind of sacrificing a little bit individually to help the collective. We saw that from Busquets today.
Minutes 82 winding down. And since the goal from Larich here to make it a 2-goal game, Kaw Valley has done a really nice job of really not giving Thunder Bay any opportunities. Wilkinson runs off, gets a quick drink while a couple of players down. That was Ponte for Kaw Valley FC. He looks to be okay, and I think we're set to restart action here. Happy opener so far for the home team. And whittle away another 8-9 minutes of this one. Kaw Valley FC will pick up its first W of the season. And will be 1-0 at home. And I know that's something with the, you know you've got the home field advantage in facilities. You'd really like that to become a thing where, hey, other teams come and they really enjoy it, but they do not like playing against Kaw Valley FC in this beautiful environment.
Yeah, and it is a style and a system that most teams don't enjoy playing against, because when they have the ball, they're very good with it, and they make you work, and they make you chase, and they put you under a lot of pressure because they are so technical and they're so smart with it. And we've seen the number of mistakes committed in the second half cut down drastically from the first half. So that's one part of it. But then defensively as well, they're a team that'll get after you a little bit, and they will put you under pressure. They'll press the way that we talked about earlier in the second half, and they just try to make things as uncomfortable as possible for the other team. And they've really succeeded at that here today after the opening 20 or 25 minutes. Once they settled into things and they found their footing, they've been the aggressors. They've been the better team. So teams will love coming in here when the bus pulls in. Oh, this place is beautiful. We're not used to this. Then they take the field and a whole new reality sets in playing against this Kaw Valley team.
Ponte coming off. Great game for him. Scored his first goal for this team. Some of these guys that are in fresh, they want to add another one, don't they? Just put this thing away. Final 6 minutes of this one. 3-1 our score. Kaw Valley FC on top. The home opener here at Rock Chalk Park. A little tap through and a runner and unable to catch up with it. It's Tommy Fizel. I think Chase Bromstead's still out there as well. Thunder Bay, meanwhile, dropping this one, will drop their season opener. And a much different feeling. Long ball downwind, going to roll all the way to Nico, who will just go to the ground and take his time. And at this point, really, the clock is your enemy if you're Kaw Valley FC. We may have, yet another substitution. Santiago Sierra, number 2, is up off the bench. Won't be much time for him to get in, but he might get a minute or two. In the first 90 of what could be 2 90-minute games in this one, and there's a bullet. Shot from Fizel. That one deflected away by Mazinski. These guys just having fun right now.
Yeah, typically when you make this many changes deep into a game, you lose a lot of that flow and everything that you've experienced up until that point. But we're not seeing that right now, and I think that's a credit to Coach Urbani, guys that have been prepared to come into a game that's already running and find their footing very, very quickly, fit into everything that's going on around them. A number of changes, new guys into the game, connecting with one another. Really nice dummy here on the near side for the ball out to the wing, and then obviously the chance from the top of the box. It's all the same concepts, it's all the same ideas, and it's very, very encouraging to see, kind of the second stringers, if you will, the guys that started the game on the bench, able to execute just as well as the starters.
And a lot of these guys may get some action tonight. Almost 2 full teams that you could go without really having to double anybody up today, but at the same time, with all the substitutions that have been put into the game for Kaw Valley FC, don't be surprised if a lot of these guys doing double duty going to start. So maybe the second game they didn't start today, they will start tonight, and then if you started today, you may be a substitute coming in later tonight. Of course, I say that if Mother Nature cooperates, and I don't like the way it's looking right now. It was sunny when we started, right?
It was very sunny when we started, and the clouds are getting darker and darker and more plentiful.
And the wind is still whipping straight from the south. There's some Mother Nature fuel out there for sure. It's a happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. May not be able to get outside much. A few events downtown Lawrence tonight. Busker Fest continuing to go on. They had to take that inside last night because of the rain there at the Lawrence Arts Center. And that event continuing on today and tonight. We'll see if it has to go indoors once again. Good news is, though, able to get a couple of games in this morning outside. Again, congratulations to the hometown Free State Firebirds softball team, back-to-back Lee Isis squad state championships as Tatum Clopton throws another complete game to finish 1-0. I don't think they gave a run up in the state tournaments. I'll have to go back and look. I think it was 6-0, 1-0, and 1-0. Tatum pitched all 21 of those innings. The 1 run scored yesterday was enough to scrape out the 1-0 title next door to us. That one started at 10, wrapped up about 10:45, and then we were underway here at Kaw Valley FC. Frank Masterson, big thanks to him, the guy that runs the show out here and facilities-wise. Man, what a mess. They thought they'd be done last night. Have a nice Saturday off, and that certainly didn't happen, did it, Andy?
It did not, but again, the playing surface out here in absolutely tip-top shape, and I mean, I was surprised when I saw how dry and playable it looked when we got out here this morning after the amount of rain that came down last night and this week. To have this surface able to play on and play as well as it has today, plays right into the hands of Kaw Valley with everything that we've talked about, the way they want to play.
And it is warm out there. It is wet, and we're starting to see some cramping now from the visitors. And we've only had, the 1 substitution? I think Thunder Bay kind of the reverse. You're down, like this game's done. We need to save some guys for our second game. Number 3, Neville Morgan. He should be really used to the hot conditions. It's a kid that's from Jamaica, spending his summers up in Canada right now. So But he has been super active for some almost 90 minutes now. We may get a quick substitution here, as Liam Azard will check in, and that'll get Morgan out of the game, and this will just be a quick rolling substitution. Got about 10 seconds to make this to the 90-minute mark, and we'll see how much time has been added to the end. My guess is not a ton. Don't remember too many long stoppages to play, but we mentioned the chippy play in the first half, and really for about the first 20 minutes, it was getting chippy there again, right?
Yeah, and it's just dissipated. We got Coach Urbani meeting Morgan halfway down the sideline with a water bottle there. So, you know,
truce.
Yeah,
put in.
I think it's a little bit.
Morgan's the one that had a call right down there in the corner that I think Coach Urbani would agree with him on. And you certainly agreed with him.
Yeah, it's a little easier to do that up 3-1 in the 91st minute than it is, you know, had the game gone the other direction or early on, should we say? Would you like to see it?
They're going to add 4 minutes onto this one. But a 3-1 lead for Call Valley FC. Trying to improve to 1-0-1 on the year, put 4 points on the board in this Heartland division, and a great start for a team that, as we mentioned, I think finished 6-6-2 last year. Was right at 500. Never really struggled during the year, but never really got a firm footing on really having a nice stretch run where they put a few wins together. But man, this team has put itself in a great position to have a great start.
Yeah, they have done, and we talked about how they've built themselves slowly into this game. If they're able to build upon this performance, this 90-minute performance, you know, should the game go ahead again this evening, and then coming back in the next couple of weeks back here at Rock Chalk Park, it's going to be a dangerous team. It's going to be a team to be reckoned with because they obviously have the talent, and it's about now kind of fine-tuning some things, some of those early game struggles, so that teams can't really be the aggressors, can't get on them the way that they've done in the second half to Thunder Bay. And if they're able to tweak some of those things and sharpen up just a little bit, this team will be better than they were in 2018. And again, that's credit to Coach Urbani. It's also credit to the players, the way that they have shown up, ready to work and ready to play hard from minute 1 to minute 90. There's been nothing from this team that we've seen in this game that you could say, I don't like that, or that, you know, that could potentially come back and be an issue for this team. There's been nothing but positive signs here this afternoon.
And Hermano down in a heap. He's still not very happy. And this is the guy that got things rolling for us really early on. Appears to be a hand injury, which I guess is good news, right? Shouldn't slow him down too much the rest of the season. More than 2 minutes of that extra 4 now gone. Trying to sneak in on the long run. Bryce Gibson for Call Valley. These guys still going after it. Enough substitutes now into the game for Coach Urbani that you see a little life. These guys have been sitting around watching. They thought they might get to play last night. They had to wait a long time today. I think they're ready to roll.
It's amazing what fresh legs will do to a game.
It is, and especially when the opponent doesn't have any fresh legs out there. It's amazing how much quicker suddenly the Cranes look and back on the attack. And still maybe a chance to add another goal as we go into the final minute now of this game. And I think that's going to do it. It's a final at Rock Chalk Park. Call Valley FC, a great start to the season. A 3-1, a very decisive win over the Thunder Bay Chill. 3 unanswered goals after falling behind 1-0 in the opening, 5 to 6 minutes of this contest.
Well, building blocks is, I think, the thing that you look for in the first game, and this team has them defensively. Very solid after giving up that early goal. Allowed very few chances, if any, of real note in the second half. And then attacking, we talked about Larich, we talked about Commodi, we talked about Ponte. They have got some players that are going to be in the upper echelon in terms of talent and quality and production in this USL League 2 this season. And I think they have a lot of potential. I think they have a ton of potential. Again, it's just going to be about fine-tuning some of those smaller things that don't have the early lapse in the game, because there will be teams they'll come up against. They're not able to fight back. They were able to do it today, and they put in just a really, really good 90-minute performance.
Great start for Kaw Valley FC at home. A 0-0 tie last week against St. Louis. You added your first win of the season to that today. Maybe you get another one later today. Could be a very busy day for these guys. Might not be. Mother Nature will have the final say in that. But I think if you were going to draw out what a perfect home opener would look like for this franchise in season number 2, this might have been it. Take out maybe the first 5 minutes. You hate that start, but maybe that's the start that energized this team to a 3-goal day.
Absolutely. And you don't want it to be too perfect, because then there's nothing to work on. But you get the...
Coach Urbani will find a couple things to point out he didn't like. Bill Self does the same thing in this town as well.
Giving up the early goal, knowing how the game played out now, it's a lot easier to do with a 3-1 win than it is if you draw 1-1 or you lose 1-0. But he will nitpick now, and he will be able to do so selectively because there were so many promising signs. But he will absolutely harp on some of the things that they struggled with early on in this game, and that's what they'll spend all week working on, and then they will work it out. And again, I believe that there's enough talent, and there's the commitment, and there's the IQ from those players that we saw today, that they will be able to work through some of those things. And come the end of this season, as short as it is, they will be a better team then than they were today.
Final score at Rock Chalk Park. Kaw Valley FC knocks off Thunder Bay 3-1. Let's take a timeout. Take a look at the highlights from this one after this.
Ooh, Brad, check it out. There's a variety of parents. This could be a song about home insurance. Oh, with Nationwide, you can save up to 20% by bundling your home and auto insurance. Bundling home and auto. 2 songs in 1. What do you call that, a crossover? No, it's more of a mashup. Yeah, mashup. You see, that's why we're a great band.
I have about a minute of just second half.
Yes, we are.
Just second half highlights?
I am in a band.
So we'll come back, do second half highlights, and then we can say goodbye. I know. I guess we're going to try to do an interview with them down there, but with the audio problems we had, we can't do that.
Do the right thing, and you will be rewarded. That means treating
Decent crowd
people
here,
right.
I guess, for a makeup
both
game.
Our customers and our employees.
I said I was running around
Getting
there.
to
My
work
wife
early,
brought her son up. He
staying late,
lasted about
get
20
the
minutes.
job
He's
done.
4. So.
And we measure our success by
Maybe
how
got a
much we've
picture
been
with the
able to
crane on
give
the way
back
out,
to
I
the
don't know.
community. We've accomplished a lot in 25 years.
And we're just getting started.
There is only one place in Northeast Kansas to see the teams, schools, and athletes that you care about the most. Midco Sports Network in Lawrence highlights the best from our local high schools to Division I college athletics. Whether it's covering the Jayhawk athletic scene or capturing our area schools, high schools championship moments, Midco SN delivers. Midco Sports Network, only on Midco cable channels 32 and 622.
You made dinner?
I made pizza.
Less than 30.
It's gourmet.
What?
We have hand-rolled dough, lean-cut meats, fresh herbs and vegetables, topped with 100% Wisconsin mozzarella.
Yes, that's correct.
It's Minsky's.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Take a slice.
Eat well, live better.
2,
Minsky's.
1. You're up.
And back at Rock Chalk Park, Kevin Romery, Andy Edwards with you. What a great home opener for Kaw Valley FC. Final score, 3-1 win over the Thunder Bay Chill on a game that was supposed to start last night. But as we know, Mother Nature not really cooperating. But once this one got in, I think everybody wearing light blue certainly happy today.
Yeah, absolutely. A slow start, obviously, giving up the goal in the first 6 minutes, but they fought their way back and really took control of this game. After the halftime restart, the little tactical tweak that we saw, and they were just all over Thunder Bay in the second half, and Ignacio Laric there with the third goal to complete the scoring. He was, I think, in those kind of 30 minutes, after the halftime restart, probably man of the match. Just in that period alone, I thought he was that good. Once he made the switch out to the wing and he was able to run at goal rather than play with his back to goal. And that's a hugely promising sign as you see him lay a ball across the face of goal right there. I think with a little bit more work together as a unit, you've got somebody crashing the back post and then the ball in from Commodi right there for Ponte. Just so many promising signs, especially in the second half, going forward for Kaw Valley that there are even better times ahead than what we saw this afternoon, and what we saw this afternoon was pretty good.
It's pretty good. Was really good. The 3 goals, as you mentioned, coming from Ponte, Arbani, and Laric. Those 3 getting on the board today. The first goals of the season after being shut out last week against St. Louis. And as we mentioned, it's the Friday night game here with Thunder Bay. The Saturday night game so as to be against Winnipeg. That one tonight over at Hummer Sports Park over in Topeka. We'll be back with you. More from Kaw Valley next Friday night. The St. Louis Lions make the return trip to here. Be an interesting game. These teams should be familiar with each other. And the first one, a scoreless draw.
Yeah, I think we'll get a much better idea of how much the playing surface there in St. Louis kind of dictated what that game would be, because what we saw from Kaw Valley today was not the same team as what we saw last week against St. Louis. And St. Louis might really be up against it when they come here to Rock Chalk Park. And Kaw Valley have a playing surface that is befitting the style of soccer that they play.
All right, great start, partner. We got the first one done. A long wait last night, but certainly worth the wait. Kaw Valley wins it by a final of 3-1. That'll do it for us. He's Andy Edwards. I'm Kevin Romery. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Big thanks to everyone working in the truck today. I know it was a scramble getting our crew together, but I know Lauren Wyrick and Brian Powell working hard. William Woody on the field, and Kevin Inez getting things done as the engineer. Again, the final score for the final time. Kaw Valley wins it 3-1 over Thunder Bay. We'll see you next Friday, everyone, when the St. Louis Lions come to Rock Chalk Park.